The prose is titled as The Fir Tree. This is a moral tale. A Danish writer remembered as one of the world's greatest storyteller. It is looking at somebody taller than him and he is not happy. Why? That is what people tell. When you have time, when you have beauty, enjoy it. Don't crave for anything more. Hello, hi, namaste and welcome to Vidhyaashram, first grade college, the temple of excellence. I am Nandakishore, faculty of English in Vidhyaashram, MYSURU. In today's session, I am going to talk about one of the prose prescribed to first semester BCom and B.B.A. MYSURU University. The prose is titled as The Fir Tree. This is a moral tale, a moral fable or moral story. So let us see what is this moral story all about and why it is prescribed to first semester BBA and BCom students. Let us know something about the author first, written by Hans Christian Andersen. He is a Danish writer and he lived between 1805 to 1875. A Danish writer remembered as one of the world's greatest storyteller. This is just like a bedtime story. Let me tell you, this story is no more important. It is not of great message as such, but in the appearance, I told you it is not as the greatest story as you could read. But when you just look into the deeper meaning, it has got a lot of message to convey to the reader. The Fir Tree, one of the Andersen's fairy tale. Hope you know what is the meaning of fairy tale. It is just a moral tale or a story, and it is just imaginative story, and it always conveys a message to the reader. So let us start knowing what is a fir tree first. So this fir tree is also known as the Christmas tree. Now you are getting into it. So ಈ ಫಿರ್ ಟ್ರೀ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ನೀವು ಈ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಮಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ಸು ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ಆಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, right? It is actually the real tree, but not maybe in India, but in European countries, this fir tree, they grow in abundance, right? So what they do, they just chop off the suitable size and they keep it inside. So that is all about this story and how it feels. How does the fir tree feels about itself? Let us start with the actual story now. This is the prose. Far down in the forest, where the warm sun and the fresh air made a sweet resting place, grew a pretty little fir tree. So it is a tree, a pretty little tree now in the beginning, and yet it was not happy. These are very important. These points, these words are very important because they convey a lot of message. Happy, it wished so much to be tall like its companions, the other trees, the same kind trees in the pines and firs which grew around it. There are pine trees and there are fir tree. The sun shone and the soft air fluttered its leaves and the little peasant children passed by. Prattling merrily, just talking about unimportant things, casual talk, prattling merrily, merrily is being happily, but the fir tree heeded them not. It did not give any attention to the children. What is not giving attention? The fir tree. Sometimes the children would bring a large basket of raspberries and strawberries wreathed on a straw and seat themselves near the fir tree and say, "Is it not a pretty little tree?" Remember, let me just clarify this. Let me just explain it in a simple way. There is a small fir tree growing in the forest, and look at this ambience. The sun is bright and the fresh air. The air is so fresh and the sweet resting place. You should observe these words. There is a woods, okay? Woods is called forest. In that forest, there is a small fir tree, Christmas tree coming up, It was not so happy. Why? Because it is looking at somebody taller than him and is not happy. Why am I so small? And again it says the sun shone and the soft air fluttered its leaves, very breezy. Yes, leaning or leaping back and forth. And the little peasant children, the farmer's children, passed by, prattling merrily, talking around. The story is told in such a way, you should imagine it. The fig tree heeded them not giving any attention. Sometimes the children would bring a large basket of raspberries or strawberries, wreathed on a straw. Wreathed is walk slowly. You're walking like as if you're not giving importance to any other things. Slowly walking on it and sit or set themselves near the fig tree and say, is it not a pretty little tree? Now, who is telling this? The small children there. The small children are looking at the tree and they say, is it not a pretty tree? Little tree? Which made it feel, what is it here? The fig tree, which made it feel more unhappy than before. Because it doesn't like people or anybody calling him the small tree. If you just relate this context, relate this story to the present context, let me tell you, every boy or every kid will have this attitude. What is the attitude here? They will have this attitude. The attitude is such that nobody should look at me, look at my size as small. My talent or my worthiness or my image should be big. People should recognize me. If somebody calls me that is not up to the mark, it could be your intelligence, it could be your image. When somebody comes and calls you, hey, chote, right? When somebody comes and tells you, hey, kulla baroili. When somebody comes and tells you, hey, small kid, come here. Even though you believe, you think that you are mature enough, you are tall enough, but people recognize you as a small boy. Maybe physically or mentally. So you would feel unhappy. Exactly the same way is happening to the fig tree. Now what it happens? Next, it feels something more. And yet, all this while the tree grew a notch or joint taller every year. For by the number of joints in the stem of a fig tree, we can discover its age. Now, the fig tree started to grow. ಆ ಫಿಗ್ ಟ್ರೀಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಕುಳ್ಳ ಬಾರೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಕುಬ್ಜ ಬಾರೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಹರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜನ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನಾನು ದೊಡ್ಡವನಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನನ್ನ ಇಮೇಜ್ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಜನರು ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಈ ತರ ಕರೆದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಚುಚ್ಚಿದಂಗೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಅವಮಾನ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಟಾಲರೇಟ್ ಇಟ್. So every year you grow. Maybe after you working hard, or maybe it could be physical appearance, maybe the intellectual appearance, your geniusness, everything starts growing. Here it is the growth of its physique, the appearance of the tree. Notch or joint, yes, the notch, one joint, it's going up taller every year. For by the number of joints fig tree will have, it will be in this shape, right? The tree, and every joint it grows, and there will be a pole here, the tree, and the twigs which will grow here. Every twigs, the more number of twigs, the more age it gets, or more age it becomes. So the joints in the stem of a fig tree, we can discover its age. Still, as it grew, it complained. These are very important words. I am going to relate this to a human being. It complained, oh, how I wish I were as tall as the other trees. Then I would spread out my branches on every side, and my top would ever look the wide world. Look at these words. This is what we do. When we were young, we wished, we craved for what we didn't have. If I just relate this to the present scenario, people who are not good looking, they wish for other people's beauty, what they possess, right? We don't have it, but we wish I was so handsome, wish I was so beautiful, wish I were so gorgeous. This is what we wish. Wish I were him. But what happens? Is it good? No, it is not. Because you're blessed. Remember, everything or the way you are born, it is a blessing for you. We should introspect. Question yourself. It says it was not so happy. It always complained. Oh, I am not so good looking. I should have been like that. I should have been like this. We go on blaming. We go on complaining. And it says, if I were as tall as the other trees, I would have just grow taller and I would just peep around the world. And now, since I am very small, I am not able to see my surroundings. I want to become taller. Now it says, I should have the birds building their nests on my boughs, and when the wind blew, I should bow with stately dignity like my tall companions. It says, once I grow taller and wider, I expect the birds to come and build its nest. And once I am taller, I should swing around. If you observe the coconut trees, how they swirl, right? How they bend on either side. And it says, bow, my bows, and I should bow with stately dignity. Stately, very majestically, yes, and I should bow. Dignity like my tall companions. He is comparing, this fig tree is comparing itself to the tall trees there. The tree was so discontented, not so happy, that it took no pleasure in the warm sunshine. Remember, this is what is required for a plant to grow or a tree to grow taller. But it is not so happy without knowing what is available with it. It is not paying its heed to anything, not paying attention. For what? Warm sunshine, the birds or the rosy clouds that floated over it morning and evening. It floated over it. Everything is available. That is what the message is conveyed here. When we have the raw material available around us, we cannot open our eyes and look at it. We don't want to happen. We don't want that to happen in our life. We don't want that raw materials. We can't even put forth a little bit efforts and change it to the fine fabricate. No, we can't do it. And next it says, yet it remained unsatisfied. Even then, when everything is required for its growth, it is not so happy and would exclaim, oh, if I could but keep on growing tall and old, there is nothing else worth caring for in the world. All it is bothered about is growing taller. That is what we wish. All we wish is to have what we don't have. In the autumn, this is the season, autumn season. In the autumn, as usual, the woodcutters came and cut down several of the tallest trees, and the young fir tree, which was now grown to its full height, shuddered, shivering with fear. Out of fear, it starts shivering. It says, wish, what did it wish for? It wished to grow tall and old. But what will happen to those who have everything? They will get spoiled. Don't they? Think about it. Just observe the kids or people who have everything in their lives. Are they contented? Are they happy? No, they are not. They want even more. Or maybe they might have lost their inner peace. So what happens? It starts declining. The saturation level starts coming down. Even their mental peace, their happiness as well, they start losing people around them. Exactly the way the tallest trees will be cut. And it says, looking at this, the smallest fir tree, or maybe the fir tree which we are talking about, this fir tree is scared now. Shuddered as the noble trees fell to the earth with a crash. Once it's cut down, it collapses, making a lot of noise. After the branches were lopped off, chopped, completely shredded. The trunks looked so slender and bare that they could scarcely be recognized. Now it is saying, after these branches were cut into pieces and there is a slender timber, no branches, it looks like a naked tree there. So it's very scared. Then they were placed upon wagons on wheels and drawn by horses out of the forest. So the fig tree is very curious. It is amazed, it is curious, it is scared as well. In the same time, it is afraid, and next it will be very curious. Where are they taking this wood logs or the piece of wood? What happens next? Where were they going? It is questioning, where were they going? What would become of them? Are they going to take them somewhere? The young fig tree wished very much to know. Now it wants to know. This is the tendency of a human being. Remember, let me just give two examples here. Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya. Both of these business tycoons, they went bankrupt. Where are they now? Vijay Mallya ಮತ್ತು Nirav Modi, diamond merchant, yes, and Vijay Mallya, liquor kebab. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರು ಇಬ್ರು ಜನರು ವಿಜಯ ಮಲ್ಯ ಬಂದ ನೀರವ್ ಮೋದಿ ಬಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೈ ಗಾಡ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಶ್ರೀಮಂತರು. ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಓಪನ್ ದೇರ್ ಐಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೌತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಓಪನ್, wide open. My God. Bentley, Audi, Lamborghini, number of cars, n number of cars in Vijay Mallya's house. Diamond merchant here, Nirav Modi, where are these two now? People want to know. People, the West, wish I were Nirav Modi, wish I were Vijay Mallya. I would have owned a plane company, Kingfisher. Where is it today? People want to know what has happened. The fig tree is expecting the same thing to happen here. They are destroyed, but still people are very eager. What has happened to them? The young fig tree wished very much to know. So in the spring, the season spring, yes, when the swallows and the storks came, these two are birds. Yes, the stork is almost like a crane. Remember? White crane came and it asked, do you know where those trees were taken? Now the fig tree is asking these birds, swallows and storks, did you meet them? Did you happen to meet them? The swallows knew nothing. Who didn't know? Swallows. But the stork, after a little reflection, nodded his head and said, yes, I know where are they taken. Yes, I think I do. I know where they're exactly taken. I met several new ships when I flew from Egypt. These are migratory birds. So it says, when I flew from Egypt, they happened to sit on this pole. Remember, they are called masts. And they had fine masts. If you just see this ship, okay, they usually will have a long pole and there will be like canvas. So using this canvas, they move the ship. And this long pole is the wood log, wood cut down from the fig tree. That is the main skeleton of it. And it says, masts that smelt like fir. So who is telling this? The stork bird. I think these must have been the trees. I assure you, they were stately, very stately. Now it says, it is very stately. What is this stately? Impressive, magnificent. They are very stately. Oh, how I wish I were tall enough to go on the sea, said the fig tree. Now, it is very curious. In the first place, it was scared. My God, I cannot see in my own eyes being chopped off, looped, yes, skinned off, almost sort of. And it had a question, where are these trees taken? And now it knows it will be used as masts, you should know this, on the ships. And it wished, oh, I wish I were tall enough to go on the sea, said the fig tree. And it again questions, what is the sea and what does it look like? It is again questioning the stalks. It would take too much time to explain, the stalk said. Said the stalk, flying quickly away. How it flies away. Next, what happens? Rejoice in thy youth. Thy is your youth. That is what people tell. When you have time, when you have beauty, enjoy it. Don't crave for anything more. You are blessed. If you are born the way you are, then you are born the way you happen to. You're blessed by the God. You're blessed by some supreme power. Who knows? Don't crave for what you don't possess. If it belongs to you, it will come to you. So it says, be happy with what you have. Of course, I'm not saying that you should not possess anything that you don't have. Work for it. Struggle for it. If it belongs to you, it will come to you. If it is not, then it won't. It says, rejoice in thy youth, your youth, be happy, said the sunbeam. It is saying, now this natural process, natural things, it is a supreme power. You can look at it in other angle, or it could be natural resources. One is natural resource. Yes. The other one is supreme power. Supreme power. It could be supernatural, extraordinarily, maybe not God, but earthly supreme power. It says, said the sunbeam, rejoice in thy fresh growth. You're growing now. Be happy. What if you don't have a Lamborghini, you have Maruti 800? Be happy, man. Because there are thousands of people who don't even own a car. So be happy. And in this case, youth, sunbeam is telling maybe there are a lot of shrubs, a lot of herbs, a lot of new saplings. Sapling is a small plant. Maybe it is not receiving the sunbeam or the sunshine, which is very much required for photosynthesis, for its growth, which is very essential. And you people are blocking it. You people are taking it away. How should it feel? You are getting everything, so be happy. It says, and the young life that is in thee, that is in you. Thee is you, the young life. Now, you might be the students who don't have any responsibilities except studying. So enjoy that responsibility of studying. Study, enjoy it. You people are thinking, no, I want more, I want more, I want more. Of course, you will get more when the moment you get married, you become a husband or a wife, you take up the responsibility, which is very much difficult for few people to handle, to bear, to learn. At that point of time, you realize, you might have heard a lot of people telling, wish I was a bachelor or spinster. Yes. Because I enjoyed my youth back then. When you are young, you may not realize it now. You would think, I'm just going to grow old. I want to be treated as one of the oldest person in my family. I want to be treated as one of the responsible persons in my family. But the moment you get the responsibility, are you going to take up the challenge? Are you going to take up these problems? Are you going to face it? Are you ready for the real challenges? And then you would realize, you would think, wish I had not grown old at all. I had enjoyed. You would sit in one place and you would recall about your past and tell and convince or console yourself, I have enjoyed a lot then, but not now. I don't find time at all. So that is why it says, each and every second you get, you enjoy it. And the wind kissed the tree. Beautifully told. The wind kissed the tree and the dew watered it with tears. The dewdrops. So these are all the raw materials or the natural resources or the supreme power, which is in the form of blessings to you, watered it with tears, but the fig tree regarded them not. It did not thank any of this, neither the wind, nor the dewdrops, nor the sun who shone on the fig tree. So be thankful to what you have. When you look at people who don't have, you should actually, it is not you would, you should feel happy. Be thankful to what you have. Next it says, Christmas time drew near. The Christmas time is coming near, and many young trees were cut down. Because remember, this fig tree will be taken as a Christmas tree, chopped off, cut down, some even smaller and younger than the fig tree, who enjoyed neither rest nor peace, with longing to leave its forest home. Remember, exact words which I would like to convey to my students. You might sit and waste time thinking that I want more, I want this, I want that, rather than enjoying with what you have. Few people, they have all the materialistic pleasures, but they will not have this inner peace, the happiness. And they sit in one corner and they slog so much. They cry, crave so much. I want happiness. How will you get it? You need to lift yourself up and make yourself happy. Because there are a lot of resources, natural things available. Go out and talk to people. Don't be a bird in the cocoon. Don't be like that. Somewhere even smaller and younger than the fig tree, neither rest nor peace, with longing to leave its forest home. They didn't want to, but still they were forcefully taken. So you don't know when you're going to die. Do you know? Can anybody tell me when you're going to die? You don't. You can die any moment. You might be planning, okay, after I reach 30, 35 years, I'm going to own this. Of course, I'm not telling you to not to plan. Plan it. But if you cannot achieve it, it's fine. There are a lot of people, millions of people who are very happy without having even a single penny in their pocket. There are millions of people who have crores of rupees in their account and still not happy. So what is the use? So whatever you have, be happy. These young trees which were chosen for their beauty, see, if you are expecting that I should be more beautiful, possibly there are a lot of people who lost their beauty just because they were beautiful. I think one of the Hungarian beautiful girls, she was murdered. Actually, she had beautiful eyes in the world. She belongs to a farmer's family, agriculturist's family. Her father cries. Even today, I don't know where she is. She's murdered, dead or alive. Nobody knows. She was chosen as the beautiful girl, one of the beautiful girls in the planet Earth. Beautiful eyes. I think Hungarian girl. And she was killed. For what? Because she was beautiful. See, this is what happens. Just the way the fig tree who were cut down for their beauty kept their branches and were also laid on wagons and drawn by horses out of the forest. They were not cut down. They are not chopped off. Yes, they were just chopped from the bottom and they were lifted as they were and they were taken. Now the fig tree is questioning, where are they going? Ask the fig tree. It doesn't know now, so it wants to know. Next, the fig tree wanted to know more. So it goes on asking, they are not taller than I am. Indeed, one is much less. Now it is saying, it is not so tall, but one is even lesser than I am. And why are the branches not cut off? Now it is recalling the first instance where the branches were cut off, chopped off, and where the wood log were just dragged on the carriages. Now, Where are they going? It is questioning upon question. We know, sang the sparrows. The sparrows are singing now. We have looked in at the windows of the houses in the town and we know what is done with them. Now the sparrows are answering this question. It says we have gone to the city and we know what happens to them. And we have peeped inside the windows of the houses in the town and we know what is done with them. They are dressed up in the most splendid manner, exceptionally well. We have seen them standing in the middle of a warm room and adorned, decorated, yes, with all sorts of beautiful things. Honey cakes, remember? Honey cakes, gilded apples. Gilded apples are the apples which are like plastic or made up of glasses and painted with golden color, right? Maybe it could be of any material, but golden apple. Gilded apples, playthings, and many hundreds of wax tapers. It says wax tapers are nothing but like candles, like very thin in the starting point, right? And it'll have a sort of thing to burn, right? Wax tapers, these were the items which will be decorated from. They are going to chop off and it's going to stand in the middle of the room and decorated by these items. Now it is more curious. And then ask the fig tree trembling through all its branches. And then what happens? Now it is saying, really? Is it so? Then what happens? We did not see any more. The sparrows say, we did not see anything more, said the sparrows, but this was enough for us. I wonder whether anything so brilliant will ever happen to me. Now it is telling, really? I am so amazed and amused as well. And I wonder whether something more interesting or brilliant will ever happen in my life, thought the fig tree. It would be much better than crossing the sea. Now it is thinking, it is comparing. It wants to be everything. But let us see what will become. Across the sea, I long for it almost with pain. Now it is saying, even if I'm going to be cut off, or even if I'm going to wait for it, waiting is more painful. So it says, I long for it, I crave, I want to be that. Oh, when will Christmas be here? Now it is wishing. It is like, inviting the death. I am now as tall and well grown as those which were taken away last year. Now it is recalling the incidents. Last year, I am as taller as those trees, it says. And then it says, oh, that I were now laid on the wagon or standing in the warm room with all that brightness and splendor around me. Now it is wishing, wish I stand there. Something better and more beautiful is to come after, or the trees would not be so decked out. It says, decked out. Then it says, yes, what follows will be grander and more splendid. Whatever might happen, it will happen in majestic way. What can I be? Who am I going to be? Am I going to be a king or a queen or a princess? We don't know. What can it be? I'm weary with longing. I'm just waiting. I cannot take this pain anymore. I'm worried. I scarcely know how I feel. Rejoice with us. Now it is saying, I scarcely know. It is in a total confusion state. That is how the students will be most of the times. Because they will be completely blank. They will not be aware of their own strengths and weakness. They don't know what they have and what they don't. Completely in a confusion state. Rejoice with us. Who is saying this? Said the air and the sunlight. Be happy. You are with us now. Be happy. Spread out your wings. Grow even taller and be happy. Enjoy thine own bright life. Enjoy your own bright life in the forest air. What you have, enjoy it. Be happy, be merry. And then it says, but the tree would not rejoice. It says, how could a tree be happy? Though it grew taller every day, how can I not be happy? I'm growing taller. compared to other trees. I'm taller, but still I'm not so happy. Exactly the possession of people who hold or who have plenty of things in their lives, but still not happy with what they have. They want more. They search for something else. A person who has a bicycle will crave for a bike. A person who has a bike will crave for a car. A person who has a car will crave for a supercar. And a person who has a supercar will crave for a plane. No end, no limit. And winter and summer, it's dark green. Foliage might be seen in the forest. Foliage is a bunch of leaves, thick abundance, right? Very greenery, rich, or maybe the tree has grown to its fullest. But still, in spite of growing or in spite of being so much, it's not so happy. I don't know. It is trying to convince itself, trying to answer its own question. While passers-by would say, what a beautiful tree. Somebody would come and tell you, my God, what a beauty you are. What a handsome man or hunk. And then for a moment you would feel happy. But here it is the extreme level. And for those people who own or possess so much, even then, when people come and admire their beauty, their wealth, their intelligence, they're like, no, I'm not so intelligent, I'm not so beautiful, I'm not so rich. They want something else. They want more, even more. The same sort of tree here. A short time before Christmas, the discontent fig tree was first to fall. Dissatisfied fig tree was the first to fall. Now the Christmas time has come and we don't know what is awaiting for this fig tree. So let us see in the next session what is going to happen to the fig tree. And the reason why I have discussed each and every word and each and every line, it's because there is a lot of message that should be discussed and given to the reader. This is a fairy tale, just maybe infatuated tale or a story, but still it has a strong impact and a broad, wider message that should reach the reader. So that is it for today's session. I'm going to meet you in my next session. In my next session, we'll see what happens to this fig tree. Until then, keep reading. Have a good day. Take care.